The chief judge stands up, the judge in the case stands up and says, well, I have no jurisdiction. But I've brought fraud before you, Your Honor. I've got the forensic audits. Everything they've done is a fraud. And all the judges, and here's a copy of the order, that all judges in Calvert County have to be recused. I don't care. Get out of here. You have no rights in my court. I have no jurisdiction. You're a piece of garbage, lady. Get lost. I believe that's on program. Oh. When I sent the fax, I included the titles to my website, starting with program 175 through 305. I believe there are 27 pages of titles on my website describing each program and how fraud has interacted in that program and how our citizens are being robbed of our rights. So I'm not afraid of these black robe bandits that call themselves judges. You want to come after me, come on after me, file a claim. I'll file a counterclaim and we'll get to the bottom of this. Either you do your job or you get the hell out of office. But the show that Gene Machad shows go from program 283 through 305 on the website. But at each time I sat in on the bankruptcy court, 2 bankruptcy court proceedings. Both judges say, we have no jurisdiction over fraud. After the first judge said it, I took her out of that office, out of the hearing. We went right up to the U.S. attorney on the 4th floor. We went in to file a criminal complaint. We were told, hold it. You can't file a criminal complaint for fraud in the U.S. bankruptcy court system against judges here. You have to go to the FBI. So they sent us to Calverton, Maryland, to the FBI. Well, the Calverton FBI has got real slick. They've taken off all evidence that they even have an office there. So I called Baltimore. They said, oh yeah, we still got an office there. We got 2 floors. We'll have an agent call you. Agent calls back a minute or 2 later. I said, listen, I've got 2 victims down here, just had millions of dollars worth of property stolen from them. And we want to report a fraud under 18 U.S.C. 3057 against the judge and the court insiders. Oh no, you can't file a criminal complaint. You're not allowed to file a complaint against, we're not allowed to take complaints against officers of the court. Give me a break. So I went out and made a video of it. It's on the website. So we had to go back and file another bankruptcy filing. And old Judge Paul Mannis in Greenbelt Court, this is a judge that I asked to have impeached and recused since 1995. Is when I filed my first criminal complaint against that judge. And he had the gall and the audacity to stand up in his courtroom when I had filed motions with him in objection to his proceedings because he had no jurisdiction or authority. The case was already on appeal to the U.S. District Court. And he comes in and he schedules this illegal hearing with 5 days notice without notifying any of the creditors, without notifying anybody. And he thought he'd get away with it. Well, I went in and checked the record every day. I found out about it, I filed an opposition, I went in and I argued before him. And I knew how he was going. I could see, I'm pretty sure that the opposing counsel was either his daughter or his daughter-in-law, the way the court clerks acted. So towards the end, I said, okay, Your Honor, I can see which way you're going. Would you please tell me, I need one question answered on the record before we leave this courtroom. And he said, yes, sir, Mr. McDermott, I'll allow one question. I said, would the court please explain to me?
I got a question.
Yeah.
What are we doing here right now? What's this production?
Hey, you're interrupting a video.
Well, we're watching somebody run around who won't stop for 5 seconds to learn what it's about. That's what we're doing. If you want to learn about something, you got to stop your bike and you got to take, find out what's going on.
What's going on?
Well, that's all right. It can be edited out. No. He's a lawyer.
I got about Well,
Okay.
I'm trying to listen. He's talking to
Okay.
the public here. I'm trying to listen.
Okay, that's fine. But Judge Manning stood up from his black robe and looked down at me. And said, what's your question? I said, it's very simple, Your Honor. Could you please tell me what the court plans to do about the $350,000 that the debtor embezzled from my partnership 30 days before he went into bankruptcy and did not report it on his financial disclosure record? And he looks down at me, Mr. McDermott, I or this court could care less if the debtor embezzled $2 million from you the day before he went into bankruptcy. It's not a matter before my court. I responded, I thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Transcriber, I would like a copy of this transcript by tomorrow morning. I don't care what it costs. And Your Honor, for the record, I'll be down at the General Counsel of the United States Courts tomorrow asking for your criminal indictment and impeachment and removal from office because you are in violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 3057 of the United States Criminal Code. Thank you very much and have a blessed day. Okay? Now, that was 17 years ago. The bastard's still on the bench. He came before Gene Michaud. I didn't recognize him. Life hasn't been too good to him. He looked like he was 100 years old. I thought he was somebody else. Once again, she explains in intimate detail. I had a couple D.C. lawyers down there. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. The judge wouldn't allow any evidence, wouldn't allow anything, even though it had been everything was done. No, I have no jurisdiction to hear anything. For Christ's sakes, man, you're a bankruptcy judge. Give me a break. You have a duty and an obligation to make sure that the citizens of this country are protected from the thugs in your office, the trustees, the attorneys, the foreclosure experts, the real estate developers. You have a duty under Article 3 of the United States Code and Constitution to make sure that they get a fair trial. You don't give a damn. Get out of my office. You're nothing. Just go on, get out of my courtroom. I have no jurisdiction. Once again, I filed a complaint against him. So what happens? Gene Michaud is still facing foreclosure. She had to file a third bankruptcy hearing for her cat sanctuary, which Channel 9 News came down and did a story on, and I think it was program 301. So everybody can see the property that these people are stealing for pennies. But nobody has rights in this country. If we don't have rights, shut this damn building down. Empty it out. Give it to the homeless. Give it to somebody who'll use it.
It's a whorehouse.
It's already that. What are you talking about?
That's what I said. It is already. It is a whorehouse.
Okay? So, let's just keep going. All this time, I'm filing papers with the FBI, asking for help. So, 2 weeks ago, Friday, her attorney said, listen, you really need to go. We have 2 forensic audits now. Both of them prove you've been a victim of serious fraud. Go file a criminal complaint. Well, the U.S. District Court won't allow you, the Maryland District Courts won't allow anybody to file a complaint against anybody in the court system. That's a joke. So we went to Douglas Gansler's office first. You know, this is that piece of garbage who want to be governor of Maryland next. We're going to do everything we can to make sure he doesn't happen. Do your job and get out of office. Go to Aunt Gansler's office. We can't help you. They send us to the DLLR. DLLR tells you, well, we have no jurisdiction over banks and foreclosure agencies. You're the Department of Labor Licensing for the state of Maryland, and none of these people are licensed with you. Give me a break. So finally, we go to the FBI office, and we said, listen, you know, this is serious. We got an eviction notice scheduled for Monday morning at 9 a.m. Dave Carlin sitting over here. I was out at his last meeting. I informed him of it. And you know, we were trying to get people together. So we get to the FBI office after going to DLLR, the district court, to the Gansler's kangaroo agency. We get to the FBI office 5 minutes late. Now they've got this 180,000 square foot building. 5 stories high, over in Owings, Maryland. We pull up to the building, it's got this big gate around it. Have you noticed all the pylons around here?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that they have a barricade? They fenced in our government.
Right.
So private citizens couldn't come in here. You know, they've got so much security. It's unbelievable to protect them. But who's protecting the average citizens of this nation? Who's protecting our rights and liberties? It's surely not the American Bar Association and mafia members of that.
No.
It's not the Congress of the United States, the Senate over here, who's 85% of its members belong to that mafia organization. It's not the members of the Congress over here on this side. Another 85 to 90% of them belong to that mafia organization. Have you went in and tried, has anybody went in actually tried to lobby your congressman?
Yes.
It's almost impossible now.
Yes.
It's almost impossible. If you're not a licensed lobbyist with the American Bar Association, you have no rights really going into these houses. You're a fool. You're just somebody we're going to step on, and we don't give a damn about you. Well, we went to the FBI, and I pull off to the side and park, and I walk up to the gate, and I said, look, I'd sent a 20-page fax to the, and this was about the 4th fax that I contacted the FBI on this particular item. Jean Michaud. The Friday before that, the day before that, I had been to every member of the Maryland delegation, the House and Senate, and hand-delivered that same 20 pages to each member of the House and Senate, asking for their help to try to stave off this eviction, illegal eviction. No responses. So I figured the FBI will fill out a complaint. The doors are locked. There's nobody in this building. There's 5 minutes after 5. There's no, I said, well, look, there's always a duty officer and the FBI is on duty 24 hours a day. No, there's no officer on duty. You look up in the window, you see all kind of people walking around, but there's nobody there who can fill out a complaint. What a piece of garbage. So I didn't want to start a stink, so I pulled my camera out, and the victim stood right there in front of the FBI headquarters, and they made a plea for help. I put that video up on the website. When I got back, I sent a copy of it to Agent McFeely. Well, Agent McFeely is in Prince George's County, and he's the head of the White Collar Task Force. And he's the head of the Foreclosure Task Force for Maryland. You can't contact him. He won't contact you. So after I made the video, I thanked the security guard, was really decent. I drive down, I get about a half mile down the road and my phone rings. It's an FBI agent. I think it's FBI agent McSweeney. He said, "What's all this about?" I explained it to him. He said, "Well, there's nobody there. You should have called and made an appointment." I said, "Listen, moron, I already made the appointment. We were 5 minutes late because of traffic. You're the one that thinks you're the one that's a moron if you think I think that building's empty." He said, "Well, there's nobody there right now." He said, "But what I want you to do is I want you to go down to Annapolis Monday morning. And I want you to take the victims down there and we'll fill out a complaint down there." Okay, fine. So I take the video back, put it up on the website. Get in there Monday morning. They're supposed to be evicted at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She was so terrified, she was afraid to leave her house and the cat sanctuary because they knew that if they evicted her, they'd euthanize all her cats. So I drive to Annapolis myself. First Saturday I get on the internet and I get the address for the FBI office. 105 Abrams Street, Annapolis, Maryland. I drove down there and luckily there was a FedEx guy right there. And I asked, "Oh, great, we got George Washington coming in here to say hello to us today."
All rise.
Appeal to heaven, George.
That's what we need to do.
It's a pleasure to have you here. So I get down to Annapolis, and what do I find? The addresses go from 50 to 110. And I've got a FedEx guy here. I asked the FedEx guy, I said, "Listen, where's the FBI headquarters?" And he said, point blank, "There's not any down here. It's a residential neighborhood." So now we have an FBI that's lying to the people, telling them where to go. Fictitious addresses, who won't answer and have a non-existent building. You know, everything is cloak and dagger for them. So I made a little video there, and then I went down to Jean's, and she has two very, very, very good attorneys who are working diligently to save her property. So I'm going to pick this up later. George Washington's here. I want to say hello to him. George.
Great.
It's a wonderful having you here today.
Good to be here.
Yep. I'm going to step out here and let you introduce.
Well, no, keep going. I don't know what the schedule is. I just wanted to have you have Appeal to Heaven behind you.
Well, I have an appeal to heaven, son.
We also have Socrates.
So last night I get home and I find out that this Gene's calling me again, once again. Frantic. Judge Lipp in the bankruptcy court is now, as you saw in that earlier fake piece of documents saying that she can't have a hearing, they're going to try to foreclose on her, evict her again. So I'm just glad I could be here and to tell Gene's story and to make a desperate plea to those in these buildings here. Once again, please return America to the people. Throw the American Bar Association out. Pass an amendment making it illegal for them to represent corporations over American citizens. And stop letting these black robe bandits destroy this great nation. God bless and have a good day.
Thank you, George. George McDermott.